It's hard to live without hope. It was Charlie Chaplin, of all people, who once said, "Despair is like a narcotic. It lulls the mind into indifference." And he was right. As we saw the coronavirus pandemic intensify in the early part of autumn, as we saw lockdown return in early November, people did lose hope. There was a downbeat spirit about the whole country, and people did lapse into indifference. They flouted the government's rules. They just didn't care anymore. And then suddenly, last week, there was hope. A vaccine. The Daily Mirror's headline was "Our Little Bottle of Hope." The Daily Express went for "Vaccine Hope. Life back to normal by spring." Hope. And immediately people's spirits started to rise again. Now, of course, it's not a perfect hope, is it? And we don't actually have the vaccine yet. It's not going to work for everybody, probably. Some people are quite suspicious of it. But it's hope nonetheless. Listen to Hebrews chapter 6, verses 19 and 20. The writer is talking about the absolute certainty we can have that all of God's promises will be fulfilled. And he says, "We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. It enters the inner sanctuary behind the curtain where Jesus, who went before us, has entered on our behalf." And that is magnificent. As God's people, there is always a hope. God will always keep his promises. We will land in his immediate presence when our time comes. For God's people, there is always a hope. And that hope, it operates like an anchor for our souls. You can picture a boat and it's in a storm, but its anchor holds it fast. Well, our souls have an anchor. And that anchor is grounded into Jesus Christ himself. And that anchor, it keeps our souls firm and secure. No matter what storms of life are erupting all around us, we have an anchor and it keeps us safe. So yes, we might have to go through some rough times. We might catch the virus, as some from the church have. And we might lose our lives. We might lose loved ones. We might lose our jobs. Our mental health might suffer. But for God's people, there is always hope. It's grounded in Jesus. And that hope vaccinates us against despair and against indifference. How brightly is your hope burning this week?